All right. Well, we want to welcome all of our families and teachers and staff who have joined us this afternoon for our afternoon version of Coffee with the Principals. So we want to kick off the afternoon today with a live performance by our very own students from the Mariachi Torres Band. So I am going to turn it over to them.
Hello, everyone. We are La Familia Torres, Mariachi Torres. Excited to be here. Melanie and Christian are part of the Feaster family, and we're going to be playing a few numbers for you, a few songs, and announcing a really cool giveaway. So stay tuned. The song that we're going to play right now is a Zapoteco song from the Región of Oaxaca, and we hope you enjoy it. Phil.
Habla de mi mujercita, si alguien habla de mí en tu presencia, diles que yo soy tu negro santo, diles que yo soy tu negro santo, yo soy un feo que sabe amar con todo su corazón y te quiere de verdad. Yo soy un feo que sabe amar con todo su corazón y te llevará al altar. Kabenais paluguini, pagini kabenai nesanulu, gushinang kabenanga ispidolo, gushinang kabenanga ispidolo, nangati feu niranashi, negidu vidashido, esachada danedi. Nangati feu niranashi, negidu vidashido, nesachada danedi. Yo soy un feo que sabe amar con todo su corazón y te quiere de verdad. Yo soy un feo que sabe amar con todo su corazón. Te llevan al altar. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Again, we are Mariachi Torres, and we wanted to announce that we are actually giving out a free Yamaha guitar with a couple of good goodies added to the gift. Anyone can participate. The guitar's a size 3/4, so anyone from the age of 7 to 13, it's ideal for this gift. And we're going to be adding a method for them to learn how to play guitar and a tuner and a gig bag on that. And on top of that, another local business is going to add some special treats from Cakes, which is located on 3rd Avenue. And all we're asking is to send us a message through our Instagram. We're under Mariachi Torres 619. DM us the name of the student, the young student, and the age. And the contact information so that we can reach out. And we'll be announcing the winner on December 20th. And it's open for anybody in San Diego, North County, South County, anywhere. So spread the word. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, what an outstanding performance. Thank you so much. And please stay tuned. And we have a couple more songs coming up at the very end and another opportunity to see their giveaway. So thank you, Mariachi Torres. And we'll be awaiting your final 2 performances at the end of our presentation this afternoon. All right, so parents, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Again, I'm Dr. Motsinger, and Our team today is going to be sharing some continued updates with you as things are rapidly changing. We want to make sure you know how that impacts Feaster and what we're doing to make sure we're ready for school when it is time to reopen. And just to give you an update, we certainly know the state of California right now and the stay-at-home orders that we'll talk a little bit about later, but we're still planning. We're still working behind the scenes to be ready to come back to school whenever that time comes. And so the chart that you see in front of you today, I shared this with you last month, and this was a chart that was a different color chart than what the state of California was using. And one of the things I shared last month was it could be a little confusing that education was using one color chart and California was using a different one. And so what happened was we now have combined the California chart and made some changes so that we're only looking at the same colors we're used to, which are the red and the purple and the orange and the yellow. So I'm gonna move us along to the next slide, and we're gonna say goodbye to this color chart. We're not going to use this one anymore. And what the district has done is they have transformed and made this new chart that follows the exact same numbers. All the ratios are the same, but it color coordinates it with something we're familiar with, which is the same tiered color chart that the state of California is using. And so you notice the purple is the most widespread and high risk. It goes to red, to orange, and to yellow. And so we're going to be looking at rates in Chula Vista using the same color chart that the state is using so that there's less confusion. So as you know, right now, the San Diego County and most of the state of California is considered in the purple tier as a county. And what I'm going to show you on the next slide is what that means in terms of our zip codes in Chula Vista. And we're going to use these same colors, even though last month we showed you a different set of colors. So I just want to draw your attention to two sections of this slide. And the first one is the 91910 zip code. It's the second box over. And if you look to where the red arrow is pointing, you can see that they have calculated that our 7-day case rate is at about 31 cases per 100,000 residents. And what we need to be out of the purple is to have that number be somewhere between 4 and 7. So as you can see, we are far above that number at this time in our current zip code 91910. You can see there's a couple other zip codes represented, but I want to draw your attention to the fourth box over, which shows the entire Chula Vista Elementary School District. And you can see when the ratio is calculated per 100,000 residents in the entire district, we're looking at an average at about 32.85, so almost 33 cases per 100 residents. And again, that puts us in the widespread high risk purple tier, excuse me. And so to be in the red tier, we would need to have that drop significantly. So I want to just reiterate, you saw this chart last month and the colors were different. The numbers haven't changed. We've just coordinated the colors so they match a system that you're used to with the state of California. So although we are in the purple tier and although we don't have students back for in-person learning, we do have some students on site for our distance learning support program, and they are working with our YMCA staff and they are in classrooms. And in addition to a few students being here, we are also working behind the scenes to create space in classrooms for when we do return. And so the three pictures you see above here on the screen are from a second grade classroom, a first grade classroom, and a sixth grade classroom. And what looks significantly different in these classrooms from what we're used to is that the desks are all 6 feet apart. And not only are they 6 feet apart from each other, they're 6 feet apart from the teacher's teaching area. And so we're slowly trying to look at different configurations of classrooms to ensure that when students do return, we're able to keep that distance. And on average right now, we're able to fit about 15 students in a classroom while still maintaining 6 feet of social distancing space between each student. We've also are working on our signage around campus to remind students to wash their hands and wear their masks. We have sanitized signs that show which classrooms have been sanitized, constant reminders on the ground for students to see how far apart 6 feet is so that they know how to maintain social distancing when out in the hallways. So although we are in the purple tier, although the state is under a stay-at-home order, we continue to work behind the scenes to make sure that as soon as we're ready, we are able to bring back students who feel comfortable to come back to school. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Dominguez, who is going to talk a little bit about that stay-at-home order and what that means for our schools.
Good afternoon, Falcons. It's great to be with you this afternoon. And so as Dr. Motsinger was sharing earlier, although we are planning for reopening, we are also very aware of what is currently happening in the state of California, specifically in San Diego County. And so as was shared, we are very well aware that there's a stay-at-home order for San Diego and our surrounding areas. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about what Governor Gavin Newsom mentioned last Thursday when he was describing the stay-at-home orders. And so essentially the key focus here is monitoring the ICU percentages. And so the state of California was broken into 5 different areas. San Diego County is falling under the Southern California area, and stay-at-home orders are enacted once ICU capacity falls below 15%, which is what happened this past weekend. And so what that means for schools is that at this moment, we're still able to operate as is. We will continue with distance learning. Our distance learning support program through YMCA will also continue, and material and food distributions will continue as well. And so although we don't have a date for when we will be reopening, currently for the foreseeable future, it will continue with distance learning. As mentioned, we are still planning to continue to prepare for that day. And so we hope that in the coming weeks, especially that our families, our students, and our staff continue to exercise healthy behaviors and tips. And we know that in situations where individuals begin to feel ill or feel sick, we do have testing sites and testing options available. And so if you're interested in having yourself tested or your family tested, on the screen, you'll notice that there are 4 testing centers which are currently taking either appointments or walk-ins. And so I'm going to leave that on the screen for just a second so that you can take a photo of it or take a screenshot of it. But there is a testing center at the old Sears building, the Aquatica Center, Tubman Chavez Community Center, and Mar Vista High School. And the details are listed below. And we'll certainly add this information on our social media in the event that you would want to get tested or have your family tested. And so for those of you that are interested in it, the process for getting tested is it's usually either a nasal swab or some type of mouth swab, and typically you get your results in a couple of days. And so something to keep in mind as we begin to enter the holiday season, where we know that the holidays are filled with family and friends. And so just a resource for you to have in mind as we begin to enter holiday season. And so with that, just a few more reminders. These are the big 4 that we're currently following here at Feaster, which is to prevent COVID-19 and other viruses. We're asking that that staff members and students and community members continue to practice healthy hygiene. So washing your hands for 20 seconds or more. Usually that's the length of a chorus of your favorite song. Keeping physical distance of 6 feet. Wearing a face covering when you're around people. And most importantly, if you are sick or you feel like you have symptoms associated with COVID-19, to stay at home. And so these are the recommendations, like I said, that we continue to follow here at Feaster, and we continue to promote throughout our campus and within our communication with the community. And so with that, we do hope that you have a very safe holiday season. This is our last Coffee with the Principals for the calendar year, and we will, we certainly wish you a healthy and safe holiday season. And so now Dr. Sleiman is going to jump on, and she will be sharing a little bit more information regarding the reclassification process.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dr. Sleiman, and I'm the Associate Principal here at Feaster Charter School. I wanted to go over the reclassification process as it's impacting a lot of our students who are currently English language learners. And so I wanted to go over the process specifically of what that's going to entail. So starting December 1st all the way up until the 18th, we have our first timeline for reclassification. And reclassification is for students who are considered to be an English language learner when at the time of enrollment you filled out during their home survey that they speak another language at home other than English. This automatically puts students into the English language learner category. Every single year, students that are in this category of English language learner have to be assessed for the LPAC assessment. And the LPAC assessment, what it essentially does is it communicates a level of mastery that the students have in the English language. Now, reclassification is when an English learner no longer needs English language support and can successfully achieve in state assessments and classrooms where the language of instruction is primarily English, and is able to now participate fully in society in English. And so this student, once they've reached the reclassification category, they are now reclassified as a fluent English proficient student. And so in order to achieve this classification, there is a criteria. So first it begins with the LPAC assessment. So that's step number one, our English language proficiency. So every single year at around the time of about February is when we administer the LPAC assessment to our students. And this is again an assessment that helps us to be able to find out a little bit more as to what the overall language proficiency is of a student. If a student scores a 4 or above, then they are automatically have met the first criteria out of 4 to be able to be on the reclassification process. The second area that we look at is academic achievement. Now, in a traditional school year, we would be looking at the CASP assessment, which is taken in May. However, given that last year we did not complete the CASP assessment due to school closures, the district is looking currently at local measures. And so for our students that are in kinder all the way to 2nd grade, that would be their Smarty Ants assessment. For those that are in 3rd through 8th grade, we are looking at their Achieve 3000 level set assessment. And so those are the 2 assessments that we are looking at for just beginning the process of reclassification. Once we have the students that have met the 2 criteria of the English language proficiency exam and academic achievement, then we take it to the teachers to get their recommendation. And once teachers have given their recommendation that yes, the student does in fact display more of a fluent English proficient student, then from there we contact you, the parent and guardian, for your opinion and for your agreement for the student to continue to be reclassified. And so this is the process that we're going to follow. Like I said, it started the timeline from December 1st, and it will continue till the 18th of December. And so already our English language learner IA is working very hard to be able to get that information put together. And she is the one that's primarily here responsible on staff to be able to help us with this. This is Miss Annabelle Ibarra, and she can be reached at, here's her email, at 619-422-8397, and she can answer any questions specifically if you have about your student or if they have met the criteria for reclassification. So that is a little bit about what is happening currently at Feaster for our English language learners. I now want to shift my attention to our attendance policy. On November 30th, we sent home a letter through School Messenger and through Jupiter Ed, and this was to inform our community that we would start implementing unexcused absences in one of 3 scenarios. And so starting as of November 30th, which was right when we came back from Thanksgiving break, These would be the 3 scenarios where students would be marked as unexcused, an unexcused absence. So one of them is if a student logs into the meeting and then logs out with no verification of participation. And what we mean by no verification of participation is that the teacher has continuously reached out, said, you know, so-and-so, are you in the meeting? The student does not respond in the chat. The student does not respond verbally. The student does not respond on an assignment or a collaborative document that they're working on. The teacher will make every attempt to make sure that there is verification of participation, but if there is not, and there has been numerous attempts made, then that student will be marked as unexcused absence. Second scenario is if the student is logged in, but his or her camera and mic are off, and the student again is unresponsive and there is no verification that the student is present, then at that point in time, that student would also receive an unexcused absence. And the last scenario is if the student logs in and out with, again, the camera and mic off, is unresponsive, and there is no verification of participation, then again, that would prompt an unexcused absence. We do understand and completely our understanding of the fact that technology does go in and out, our Wi-Fi can go in and out, and that would not trigger an unexcused absence. Again, it is just no verification of participation throughout long periods of time. If in case your student is going to be absent, just like we have in past years for doctors, for anything that may come up, please do not fail to contact the front office and let Melissa know that your student would not be logging in for the day. And at this point in time, I know that some of you have already started typing in your questions. I'm going to go ahead and allot a couple more seconds for you to type in those questions, but I will start directing the questions over to our 2 principals. So the first question we have here is for Dr. Motsinger. Dr. Motsinger, if students have the option to return in person for in-person class instruction and others decide to continue with the virtual instructional model, how would that be accomplished? Would all classes be held at the same time, meaning that the same teacher, which is giving the classes in person, are they doing it on Microsoft Teams and then also in person with the students?
Okay, thank you for that question. So as of right now, our plan, and we're working with our lead teacher team, is to allow parents to have the choice to either keep their students home in virtual learning or to send them back to school. And our current plan is going to be a blended model where the students stay with their same teacher. How exactly the day will look, we have not worked out the details yet. Whether that will mean the distance learning students are participating in the afternoon and the in-person students in the morning, whether the teacher will be doing kind of a live stream where the teacher is teaching from the classroom and the students at home are watching on their screen at home, or whether it's going to be a small group model where the teacher will teach to some of the students in class and then to the students at home throughout the day. So we're working on what that will look like, but at this time we are moving forward with a blended learning model where students will get to stay with their same teacher, and parents will get to select whether or not they want their students to return or whether they want their students to continue in distance learning. And on that note, I just want to share that we've sent out surveys so parents can kind of give us an idea where you're feeling in terms of sending your kids back. And certainly the answer you provide us is not set in stone and it can change. We're just trying to gauge for our planning purposes to identify how many families would like their students to return to school and how many families would like to keep their kids at home. So if you need a link to that survey, your child's teacher has it, or we can send that to you again. You just need to let us know.
And on that same note, regarding the blended learning model, can you just clarify a little bit more as to what days students would be on campus versus online?
Yes, absolutely. So in the blended learning model, the students that choose to come to campus to learn would be on campus Monday through Thursday, excuse me. They'd be on campus 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And Friday, all students would remain in a distance learning setting. So Monday through Thursday, students who chose to come back would be in the classroom with their teacher.
And Dr. Motsinger, there is another question for you. When you were explaining the new model, the question is, does that apply per 100,000 residents?
Yes, so going back to the color-coded chart with these zip codes, not all zip codes have the same number of residents. And so in order to kind of get an even number across all, thank you. In order to get an even number across all zip codes, the rate is calculated per 100,000 students. So for example, in 91910, where we are located, we only have 83,000 residents. And so a simple ratio is performed to identify how many cases out of 100,000 we have in our zip code. And so similarly, when you look at the district, they have over that 100,000, they have 364,000. And so a ratio is completed to determine what that case rate would be out of 100,000. That way we're kind of all on a level playing field.
Okay, the next question is for Dr. Dominguez. When is the last day to send pictures for the yearbook?
So the last day to send pictures for the yearbook will be Friday, March 5th, and you can send them over to the following email, which is feaster.tech@cvesd.org.
And on that same note, there is an additional question for you, Dr. Dominguez. Is there currently a return date for students?
Currently, there is not a return date for students. We are continuing to, we will continue to operate under distance learning.
Okay. The next set of questions I am happy to answer. They're regarding reclassification. So we have two questions regarding classification. The first is for students who are reclassified, will they be receiving an official document sent home, and would they ever need to continue doing the LPAC test ever again? And so, yes, we do provide certificates for reclassification. This is typically done in Q4. And so when we hand out our presidential awards as well. And so we will be sending home a reclassification certificate if your student is reclassified. And if they are reclassified, they will not need to take the LPAC summative test again. There's one final question on reclassification, and that is, would the reclassification be reflected on their middle school certificate after graduation? And so once a student is reclassified, the student again receives that RFEP, or that they are reclassified to English proficiency. And that is something that will transfer over to whatever high school or middle school that your student goes to. So again, that it's not something that's reflected on their transcript or their certificate necessarily, but that is a classification that they will receive as they move forward to other schools. And we have a question for Dr. Motsinger. Will desks have a plexiglass setup, and what would be the student capacity per room?
So at this time, and thank you for going back to that picture, if desks are set 6 feet apart, they currently do not need to also have a plexiglass. However, we have purchased several plexiglass barriers for each classroom in the event that some students need to have a little bit of extra protection, or we want to put them in a small group table. But currently the recommendation is that if the students are able to maintain the social distancing, the 6 feet apart, each individual desk does not have to have a plexiglass barrier, but we certainly know there are circumstances where we'll need them. And so each classroom will also have access to some folding plastic or plexiglass barriers. The second question was about the capacity in the classrooms. And right now, of the classrooms that we have set up, we have found that you can fit about a maximum of 15 students in each classroom at the 6 feet distancing from one another, as well as from the teacher.
There is an additional question for you regarding the number of hours that students would be attending if they were to return in person.
Yeah, so it's a great question, and we're working that's one of the details that our lead team is working out in terms of how long students would be able to, or how long students would be actually physically in the classroom. So what we know is they would probably start around the same time, about 8 o'clock. What we are not 100% sure about is if they would stay the entire day or if they would have a modified day. And so we're working on with our lead team on that, and that has a lot to do with the plans for how the distance learning students will also receive the same level of support while at home.
So on the same classroom note, parents are wondering if they will be able to see the classrooms prior to them sending their students back or making that commitment.
Yes, absolutely. So in the day of everything being virtual, what we will likely do is do video walkthroughs of the classrooms and post pictures so that parents can see all of the things that have taken place to protect students. And so one of the likely barriers will be that we won't have additional people on campus. And so we will probably not have extra volunteers or extra parents on campus, at least at the beginning. And so what we would do is do a video tour so that you could see what each classroom looks like. And what you see in front of you is just a very, very beginning of our planning. And you notice there's nothing on the walls yet, and a lot of things aren't set up to be 100% ready for students to return. But the first step was to really look at what was the capacity and could we fit, how many students really could we fit 6 feet apart and still maintain space in the classroom.
The next question's for Dr. Dominguez, since you spoke a little bit about the 4 Ws. How is the bathroom situation going to work when our students return to campus?
So our custodians currently have a schedule where they are periodically disinfecting all the bathrooms on campus. And so as many of you know, we are hosting at the moment the distance learning support program, which is provided by YMCA, and that's our daycare option for working families. And so our custodians do have a schedule where they are rotating from bathroom to bathroom and common areas so that each area is disinfected prior to the arrival of a new group of students. Now, when we do reopen with more students and additional people on site, then we will be looking at what that schedule is and how to ensure that continuous cleaning is happening throughout the day.
So with that, I do not see any more questions in the chat. We will give it about 30 more seconds just in case, but we do want to let you know that we do have our Mariachi Torres that will be finalizing our Coffee with the Principal with 2 fabulous songs that they have prepared for us. And so while we give them a moment to set up, we'll just take a couple of seconds to see if any last-minute questions come in, but we're very excited. We have Melanie Torres and Cristian Torres, who are 2 of our students that are here with us in our Falcons, along with their mom and their dad, who are part of the Mariachi Torres band. And so we are very, very proud of our Falcons. I do not see any other questions in the chat. And so at this point in time, we will turn it over to our Mariachi Torres band.
De donde andaba, se me concedió volver. A mí se me afiguraba que no te volvería a ver. Parece esa amapulita cortada al amanecer. y porque vengo de lejos, me niegas la luz del día. Se me hace que tu esperanza le pasó lo que a la mía. Por andar en la vagancia perdió un amor que tenía. Estrellita reluciente de la nube colorada. Si tienes amor pendiente, tócale su retirada. Ya llegó que andaba ausente y ese no consiente nada.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to do one more number with the kids, but before that, we wanted to let everyone know, for those of you who signed in a little bit later, we are giving out a giveaway, which is a guitar, Yamaha guitar, with a couple of products from our family music shop, which is a gig bag and a tuner and a method for a kid to learn how to play guitar. Now, this guitar is a size a 3/4 size, so it's ideal for a young student that's from age 7 to 13. So if you have someone that's within that age, friends, family, or Feaster family, feel free to send us a message through Instagram. We are under Mariachi Torres 619, and just send us the name of the student, the age, and a way for us to contact them. And on the 20th, we're gonna do kind of like a raffle thing, and whoever we pull up, we'll be reaching out to get them that giveaway. We're gonna do one more number with our kids. Not a mariachi song, but more of a song that our kids are trying to now go into salsa, sing some English stuff. So we're trying to support them, and definitely we're gonna be recording them a video soon, and we hope you guys can enjoy that too. Here you go, Melanie and Christian.
Thank you. Can't stay. It's cold outside. I've got to go away. Baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been so nice and warm. Look out the window. My mother will start to worry. My father will be pacing the floor. So really, I'd better scurry. Please don't hurt. Or maybe just to have a drink more. The neighbors might think it's bad out there. Say, what's in this drink? No caps to be had out there. I wish I knew how to break the spell. I'll take your hands, I ought to say no, 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 sir. At least I'm gonna say that I tried. I really can't stay. Oh, but it's cold outside. I simply must go. The answer is no. Baby, it's cold outside. The welcome has been so nice and warm. My sister will be suspicious. My brother will be there at the door. My maiden's aunt's mind is vicious. Well, maybe just a cigarette more. Got to get home. Maybe a flurry's out there. Say, lend me a coat. Up to your knees out there. The welcome's been grand, but don't you see? I have to do this thing. There's bound to be talk tomorrow. At Still be plenty in pride. I really can't stay. Maybe it's cold outside. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We hope you enjoy our performance. And again, we're Mariachi Torres, La Familia Torres, sending you guys a virtual hug. Happy holidays, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's give them all a round of applause. I know they won't be able to hear it, but let's give them the energy of a big round of applause. We are so lucky to have you share your passion and your love of music with our Feaster community, and you're just so talented. So thank you so much for that wonderful performance. And for those of you that are interested in the guitar, please make sure to join the raffle. It's quite the gift, especially during the holiday season. So thank you again, Torres family. We really appreciate you sharing your passion and your love of music with us. So with that, as we conclude our Coffee with the Principals this afternoon, the admin team would just like to wish you and your families a healthy and happy holiday season. And we will see after the Christmas break, we will see everyone back on January 5th, which is a Tuesday. So students will not be reporting back until January 5th, which is a Tuesday. So happy holidays and stay healthy. Bye.